goes on for a bit. But it's,
You want to do that one now?
oh, like 8 o'clock. Yeah.
No, we're doing, hold on, switch that out, maybe.
We can do them, I can do them and then I can do it afterwards, or it's up to you.
Yeah, do
Flowers of the forest? Okay. Yeah.
Everybody, please come gather around this way. Focal point is right here. So if we just make a nice little semicircle, not in the sun too much. If you want to stand here, I can move this stuff.
No, that's good. No. Okay.
I've got the other tune in my head. Give me a second. Okay.
His wife is
Well, welcome and thank you for coming today. John and I would like to say a few words and then we'll continue. John Paterson was born in Glasgow in 1931 in Scotland. When the war started, they moved to their summer house in Cairdale. They were lucky to have that. My grandmother had woken up my father one night and took him out to see the bombers coming over that got caught in the lights that they were using for defense. So they moved to Cairdale. John grew up there with his brothers Archie and Huey. My dad was a lucky man. At the age of 18, he went for the 2 years of national service, and he was tasked to go to Germany for the peacekeeping. Again, he was lucky not to get into a shooting war. And he was a rifleman in the Gordon Highlanders, and he was tasked with communications, so he didn't have to carry a rifle. He just had to drive a motorcycle around and deliver the messages. When the national service was over, he started work in the fishing and then the forestry, which was big in the local town. Wanting to make a change, he bought a football lottery ticket and said, if I don't win, I'm moving to Canada. He lost, but he was lucky and he didn't know it yet. He came to Canada in 1955 with his brother. They landed in Gander, Newfoundland in the winter, the dead of winter. They stepped out of the plane door and looked at the shack that was the terminal building at Gander at the time. And they see an icicle coming from the rooftop all the way to the ground. And they said, what have we gotten ourselves into? He traveled out west to Edmonton, and he met an insurance man there from Scotland, and they made a deal. He said, if you buy an insurance policy, I will get you a job in the rigs. So he continued working for a paving company and as a security guard until he got the call. And there was a message that was sent by a telegram, come at once. So he left on a Friday, and he was working the shift on the oil rigs on the Saturday. After that, later he got on to a dragline excavator. The guy that was hiring him said, do you know how to operate a dragline? He said, sure. He had no idea. The result was he had a little bit of trouble, and he ended up taking out the power and communications for the town of Grand Prairie.
So he made his way down, like Glenn said, to Drumheller, and was working oil rigs all over Alberta and northern BC. And then he had some off time, and he was in Grand Prairie, and he knew this girl that worked at the Grand Prairie Hospital, and he called her up. And she wasn't there. Well, comments. So after he called a couple times, Dad being Dad said, well, how would you like to come over? And she said yes, and that was how that started. He was lucky again that he met Mom. We went on a holiday, a honeymoon to Scotland for 3 months, and then when he came back, he stopped to see his brother Archie in Montreal, and Archie said, well, why don't you try applying at Air Canada? Goes into the manager's office, like a job, and the manager says, we're not hiring anybody. And then the phone rang. And they go, oh yeah, we've got one right here. Another lucky, he got hired at Air Canada, and he spent his whole career there, and he actually got me hired, and I spent Michael. So Dad worked at Air Canada for 31 years, and then retired in 91. Was retired for 34 years. So he was retired longer than he worked, which was good for him because he liked the golf, and he liked the fish and boating. So we lost Mom a few years ago, and that hit him pretty hard. He managed to lead a healthy and active life right up until he died. He was chopping wood, pruning roses, getting us out to do things too, which was good. I got a note from Emily this morning that I'd like to read. It said, hi Daddy, I'm sorry you can't be here for Grandpa's ceremony. Please know I'm with you and Mommy and everyone in spirit, thinking of Grandpa and the life he lived. He had a good long life, and I always found him inspiring in how much he stayed active every day and how he kept him healthy for so long. Rosie and I had so many wonderful memories with Grandma and Grandpa, especially those weeks we were lucky enough to spend with them in the summer. I'm really glad that you and Mommy made the decision to go out there. It was such a big and quick move, but at least you were able to be with them. And even though it wasn't long, as you hoped you were there, and that's what matters. Now you and Mummy, and also Rosie and I get to keep building new memories in the place where Grandma and Grandpa lived. Always carrying them in our hearts. So many of our first were in Vancouver Island. That will always stay with us. Sorry I can't be there today, but when we're all together in our next trip, make sure to do some things that Grandpa loved and honor him. So Dad always did his best with what he had. Started with pretty much nothing. He did pretty good. He's a good man and a good father. He took good care of his family.
If anybody would like to say a few words, you can do it now, or otherwise we'll continue.
Right. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, we'll put the...
All right, so we're going to put the urn in the ground now, and then ask if anybody wants to come up and throw some petals in. And then when you do come up, we've got a bottle of that best scotch there. We'd like to make a toast at the end. So,
Yeah, one of the pipes. You only get one, eh?
one for the funeral. What? To the house. Yeah, you got one for you, Tim.
I won't say no.
Thinking that. They're A little bit for the
I would
afterlife.
say it was a waste of good scotch, but you do it anyway.
Yeah. So, here's John.
John Paterson.
Life
Good job.
Pretty good scotch.
Too bad.
So we have a reservation booked at the golf club for lunch. Anybody that wants to come is welcome. We'll just have a bit of lunch and look at some pictures.
That's at 12:30. At 12:30, that's the reservation. So the Qualicum golf course is down here. All right. So everybody.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Really appreciate it.
His friends from the pool and his neighbors meant a whole lot to him. He talked often about his friends from the pool, and I think oftentimes that kept him going, and definitely going back to the pool. So thank you for all of the friendship that you offered, and to his neighbors as well. He would often tell us stories about the neighbors and what was happening on the street, and it was a great social connection that he felt. So thank you very much.
Yeah.